Hey, booze, hey. Do your blankets feel like super glue in the morning? Well, sis, it's time to shake them off. Welcome to Wake Up Happy Sis, the show that jumpstarts your day with a bang. We're strolling down these self-care streets as we navigate the maze of wellness and healing. We're helping you live happy, healed, and whole. And we do it all with a hearty dose of belly laughs for good measure. Stay tuned and get ready to wake up happy, sis. Welcome. Hey, booze, hey. Welcome to another powerful episode of the Wake Up Happy Sis Show, where we're changing the narrative for our people because we're always telling our story our way. We're tuning live on KCCR Cityscape Radio and a host of other platforms. So welcome. Now listen, today we are getting real about something that I think too many of us often push aside, right? And that's loving your damn self a little bit more. I mean, loving yourself like your life truly depends on it, because it actually does. We're talking about self-love, self-worth, and making yourself a top priority without guilt, without hesitation, and without apology. And Sharonda and I are not doing this by ourselves. We have Kimberly Pack, a certified trauma-informed coach and business strategist who helps people own their presence and beat burnout. So she's going to bring that heat. She's going to bring that fire. And trust me, you know, Sharonda and I are going to bring you all the energy that we always bring you every show. So grab your cup of whatever. Today I'm drinking this little core water. I don't know. It's my first time trying. It's pretty good. We don't judge what's in your mug. We won't judge. You drink what you want to because you're grown. You do what you want to do, right? Because if it was me, I'd be having a mimosa right now, but that ain't what I'm on today. So, welcome, Kimberly, to the Wake Up Happy Sis Show.
Good morning.
How are you today?
We are waking up happy.
Like the little bubbly zhuzh.
Listen, we are waking up happy. I am on theme, okay?
Yes, you are. Look, that's how we are every day.
That's right.
Yes. So welcome to the Wake Up Happy Sis Show. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. And I'm so happy to be here to talk about loving our damn selves.
You know, that's what, look. And you know, at some point in here, a part of that will be Sharonda and I's favorite words, boundaries and no. We're going to talk about that as a part of your self-worth. We're just going to talk about a lot of things. But first, Kimberly, we want to get to know a little bit more about you. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, how you do it, and how you got started?
Sure. So I am a privacy attorney by training and W-2. And I have been in corporate America for 20 years this year. So I am a corporate America vet. And I launched my business Ascend Together last year. And it's a project of love because I know as I try to transition and navigate through corporate America, all the things that I face as a Black woman. At one point, I was the younger director. And so all these things that were unwritten, because I read the policies through and through. Your girl reads very well. And the things that were happening was outside of those written policies. And I didn't know that initially. And so I am launching Ascend Together to be the mentor, the coach that I wish I would have had when I was in corporate America trying to make it. And with my sanity, okay? Because I let these people early in my career run me all the way raggedy. They had me questioning my own self and whether I was crazy or not. I really was like, am I crazy? And it was a true question. That's how they'll do you. And so what I'm doing is talking to my audience about really how to succeed, how to redefine success on their own terms, and how to keep their identity and their sanity and their values and still get the bag. We live in America. It's capitalism. I get it.
Yeah, without that bag, without that.
And I'm in Chicago, South side.
Okay. If Tony was here, he'd be like, "What part of Chicago you in?" Because he and
Inglewood.
our big brothers in Chicago as well. So, Kimberly, let me ask you this then, right? Because we know, I think we all three of us here know about corporate microaggressions, dealing with those unwritten rules that were only for us, it seems, a whole different set of rules. So what was kind of that wake up call for you that made you realize that you really needed to kind of prioritize yourself more and take a step back and be like, okay, what do I need to do to continue to navigate these shark infested waters sometimes?
It was therapy. I started with therapy, and I'm a black church girl. You know, they were like, go to Jesus, God got us, and he does.
He
And
does.
that's why he has created therapists. Amen. They're a real resource and a tool. And what
Right.
I found myself doing was early in my career, and I'm at a Fortune 50, right? So I'm at a legit, highly metrics. I'm the black girl that's the only director in my department, you know, like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what I found myself doing was like I had let my job consume every aspect of my life. If you go back and quiz my mom and all my friends at that time, they can name you every coworker I had, every leader, because that's how much I talked about it. I talked about it nonstop. So I'm miserable while I'm there. I mean, of course, it's not all bad, but I had all this stuff and I'm talking about it with my coworkers there. I come home, I'm on the phone, I'm telling my mama she in Chicago. I'm telling we going to drinks. I'm talking about like literally, I realized that this job had consumed almost every aspect of my life. And again, I'm a happy girl, so but we having drinks with Kiki, but I'm gonna slip in that story about work. Like I let it
Yeah.
just really take over. And I'm just like, this don't seem right. Right? This doesn't seem right that I think about these people. I'm going to bed thinking about these people. I'm waking up thinking about these people. And I said, let me get some help. Somebody referred me an amazing black woman therapist. And through my work with her, y'all, because again, we already sound, we be solid, but we get in these spaces and we start because it's so consistent and it seems like it's coming from so many places. And it's that, and we always are introspective. We be like, well, is it me? I will take that
Yeah.
feedback. But sometimes it is us, but other times it's the system, it's the way things are. And so that was the start. And one of the biggest questions that lady asked me that changed everything, she said, why do you care so much?
Because we don't know how not to.
I'm saving the company from all these incompetent people. Like I took all this stuff on, you know, because I'm trying to save this Fortune 50 company that had been around for 100 plus years that was going to be around when I left. And it's still around right now. Right.
Mhm.
And so it was a start of like perspective that changed the game for me because I was too invested. I had overinvested in ways that I did not realize I had done. And I wasn't doing myself a service. I wasn't doing my family and friends who had to endure all these stories. Thank goodness for support. They was there, y'all. They listened. They did. Like I said, give them the quiz. They will pass with flying colors. They can name everybody I worked with. But yeah, so I started with that, taking care of myself and going out and getting a therapist that fit me, right? I went out and found someone who happened to be a black woman. She had counseled all kind of professional women. So everything I said, it was this validation like, yes, this is what my clients share. So it was just this not feeling alone. And then I did a bunch of research. And then I started being like a faux DEI person, right? Because I started looking and saying like, yeah, I'm not alone. This is what happens. And so there's a lot of things on there. And people don't take that time to do that research, but I've done it and I continue to do it because there are patterns. Nothing is new.
Yes, I definitely agree with that. People, in our community especially, therapy has not been, especially if you're of a certain age.
Right.
If you're of a certain age, above about 40, 45 maybe, therapy is not something we talked about. It was not communicated. It was not a well-known option. That's what crazy people did.
Mm.
And what happens in our family and in our bit and whatever stays here. And I love that we are as a community so much more open to getting the help that we need, right? Because your good girlfriends, your homeboys, and all that, they're not going to be equipped to deal with all of the traumas and issues that you have in your life. Because you know what? They got their own. And we should not be dumping all of our problems on everybody, right? And so going to therapy or finding a coach or both, because they both have a purpose, is what more of us need to do. And I think as we get more open to it and do like these little millennials or whatever they call. I don't know if it's the millennials or if it's the next generation after them, whatever they are. They just be like, they will quit a job, ain't got now job lined up or nothing.
Ain't even thought it out that far.
Haven't.
I
But they
want you to
realize
know
what you're not gonna do to them.
this decade for us, we're both 53. I want you to know that this is my best decade yet.
Oh yeah.
And I graduated from corporate America in the federal system 2 years ago. And it was, here come our favorite word again, boundaries. It
Mm.
was something happened to me after I turned 50. I was like, I can't do this anymore. I was the poster kid just like you, Kimberly. It just I be my whole family knew my coworkers. It was the four of us, and it's one of us left there still. I keep her in my prayers, but I had to make a distinction between what I did and who I was, because they weren't the same thing. And you mentioned therapy. I just completed therapy. It was an intense 6-7 months thing, and I got a certificate of completion for
Okay.
doing the work on myself.
Okay.
And I definitely agree. Like Leanne said, like, we come from the generation that therapy, crazy people get therapy. We got this. No, the hell we don't. And so it took me getting to my 50s and learning boundaries. And hey, don't wait till your 50s to learn what a boundary is. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. To
First of
implement
all,
boundaries.
therapists are giving out certifications. Now they know they targeting high achieving Black women now when they giving out certifications for
Because
therapy.
we love a good
We
certification,
love
baby.
a certification. So
Right.
I didn't hear that the therapist was giving out certifications. I'm gonna have
No,
to
a
go.
certificate.
A
A
certificate.
certificate of
I done
completion.
got a
I'm gonna have to
certificate.
ping my therapist because she ain't giving out no certificates. So I'm gonna have to let her
Right.
know
You
that she
feel
is
me that way, right?
achieving.
Yeah,
Okay,
it is a
Where
piece of
is
paper, but
where
it's
is my
still an achievement.
certificate?
where is it?
Where's my certificate?
Where is it?
Right. And I'm so glad I did it. And because I learned about myself, I learned what I like, I dislike, I truly love, can't stand, and all of the things. But how would I get to know that if I didn't look inward? Because during this time, I'm spending it with myself and learning about myself and giving myself grace and all of the things. So this is the time. But I just really want to say, don't wait till your 50s to finally get some doggone therapy.
Yeah, and I think it stems from, if we look at kind of the foundation of self-love, right?
Mm, mm,
Self-love, one, is not a luxury, baby. It is not a luxury. It is, to me, a radical daily practice that we have to take, because a lot of us were never really taught how to love ourselves.
mm,
We've always been taught how to care for others.
mm-hmm,
We've been taught how to be strong and resilient, that strong Black woman we've all been taught to be. We've
mm-hmm,
been taught how to keep going no matter what. We are resilient as fuck. Okay, we're gonna get up and keep going because that's all we know how to do. That's all our mothers and grandmothers and all of them knew how to do. But where in that script did it ever say that along this journey we're supposed to stop and care for ourselves? Nobody really taught us that.
right.
Right? That's not a thing that a lot of us learn, because when you focus on yourself, it's selfish.
Hmm.
Now you're stuck up. You think you're better than everybody else, right? But I really want us to kind of unravel and dig deep into some of these, I guess, maybe more deeply rooted reasons why we struggle so much with self-love. And how do we then start to rewrite that narrative for ourselves? Because there's a woman out there right now who is listening who doesn't feel like she loves herself. She may not even like the version of herself today, tomorrow, yesterday, right? How do we help her move from where she is to starting to really grasp the concept of self love, right?
I think, I think one of the things you talked about how no one taught us. And I think part of it is because it was this idea of survival, right? And so self-love is, at least if you paying your bills and you can eat, like, you're doing good, right? Like, this idea that there's something more about how you should feel walking down the street, how you should feel when you look into the mirror. Like, that felt like luxury. You said it's not, that felt like some extra stuff. That felt woo-woo. Baby, you need to go get this job, pay these bills, feed these kids. Like, and so we grew up around people who really was about the basics, right? It was really about, are we paying these bills? Are these kids going to school? Are they being decent folks? Are we going to church? Can we pay our little tithes? Can we go on our one vacation, our one little road trip, right? So the bar was very low. And again, we're going to get to this, but self-love is not about spending money, but even just the idea of taking a moment to be like, are you taking care of yourself emotionally? Are you taking care of yourself spiritually? Are you taking care of yourself? What are the thoughts you have about yourself? Like, this is not stuff that we talked about growing up. It was, you got this job, you go to school, it was very tactical.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
What care looked like. And it wasn't about self-love. We wouldn't talk about that.
No, because, well, think about it. If you think about where a lot of us came from, right? We were raised in homes where being selfless was a virtue, and being self-full or prioritizing yourself was more, I won't say fully demonized, but it was looked down upon. It was frowned upon. You don't focus on yourself. Not when you supposed to be out here getting married and having babies and no longer being Leanne. I'm Miss somebody or mommy or whatever, right? So we saw our mothers and our grandmothers and our aunties and sisters, especially if you grew up in those generations where the kids were staggered, where you had sisters who were probably almost old enough to be your parents, right? But we saw them giving everything for their families, for their jobs, for their communities. Think about the movie Soul Food, right? Big Mama, where she kept everything going, even when her husband had a gambling problem and was spending up all the money. She was the one who took in her brother when he had dementia and got sick, right? And most people may not even did have analyzed that movie that deep to even realize those patterns, right? But we were never taught, Leanne, it's okay to take a moment and love yourself. It's okay to think about and put yourself first. It is actually a requirement in your life, because we're told we're supposed to be selfless. We're supposed to give until we have nothing else to give, because that's what makes you a good person, a good mother, right? And what it does is it creates this subconscious and sometimes even conscious belief that loving ourselves and prioritizing, if my mouth would work this morning, our own needs is an act of defiance somehow, revolution to love ourselves, instead of it being a necessity that we love and care for ourselves.
Yeah. And I love that you brought up the movie Soul Food, because that's something, that's one of those, you've got your black heart, you saw Soul Food. But I think about the audience right now, how many people are Terry in that movie, right? How many people are Terry who has the money, who's always looked at to solve the problem financially, be thoughtful and, sacrifice herself. And, that last table when she was like, fake family F my husband. I'm like, listen, we're not sitting at the table around somebody who violated me like that, baby. I'm not here for it. But there's this archetype of Black woman that we show up in our families and we show up in different places with our stuff together. That character really resonated with me because I have felt like I wanted to be that person. It was almost a badge to be the one who could step in and I don't need the help and I can help other people. And it's a blessing to be able to help other people, but to see that as a role of yours, without what Sharonda's favorite word is today, boundaries, is a problem, right?
You see how we say boundaries say it with some oomph and gusto. Yes. Boundaries, no. But think about it. If we dissect Terry's character, right? She had a savior complex, and it was one that was handed to her because everybody in the family, as soon as something happened that required money, you had the sister who stole Terry's man, okay? Let's not forget that the sister who stole her man, but thought of herself as the honorary mother of the family. And well, we just thought we could do this, and Terry, you could pay. Hold up, how you clocking my bank account?
That part.
Right? And as soon as we think soul food, my favorite line is that. What? I trust family fuck my husband. Okay? That's because that's been us. Maybe not that specific scenario, but having that expectation that if something goes wrong, you're the one that's supposed to fix it. That you're automatically the one that people go to. And the fact that some of us did want to be that and had that savior complex, not even realizing that's what it was. Because that meant you were something, you were worthy. Because now you've got money, as if money equals worth. But that's what we're taught because we didn't grow up. A lot of us didn't grow up with money, right? We grew up in the struggle. So the people with money were who we always aspired to be, as if they didn't have their own sets of problems and things and the same struggles with self-love that everybody else has, right? I think it's time that we start passing down to our young women, how do we disrupt this cycle? How do we redefine what strength looks like? How do we stop suffering in silence? How do we choose ourselves first and not feel bad about it, not feel guilty about it? Right? How do we do that? Because selfishness, when you're choosing yourself first, that concept of it being selfish is a myth.
Yeah. It's what is it?
Self-full to me.
Self-full, yes. Self-full. It's not you. It's how the Gen Xers, the Gen Zers and the millennials, and they change the meaning of words that we're still using.
Baby, yes, they do.
We can do it too. We can do it too.
We will create a word on this show. Well, maybe I will create a word on the show in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. Yeah. Because if the current vocabulary cannot hold me.
Absolutely. It's a
concept. I got to make up some words, but people always know what I mean when I say it.
Yeah.
Right? I don't just make up crazy stuff, right? But I want to be clear about one thing, because they do weaponize the word selfish against us, right? But when we think about being selfish versus self-preservation, those are not the same thing. When I choose myself because of self-preservation, because I actually am looking out for everyone else's well-being, but I have to focus on mine first. Because if I'm not healthy, I cannot help others. But I'm not doing it simply because I need to be a help to others. I'm doing it because I damn deserve it. I deserve to be happy, to be healed, to feel whole, to feel free, to feel fulfilled, to love myself unapologetically. I deserve that simply because I'm human, not because I got money or don't, not because I'm accomplished or not. And that's not selfish. That is self-preservation. Because if I'm prioritizing myself, that doesn't mean I'm taking away from anybody else. Yeah. I don't have to take away from somebody else to prioritize me. That just means that you may not have the access to me that you think you should have. You're not entitled to my time, to my energy, to my space. And we have to realize it's okay to not let everybody have equal parts of you.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes access shifts, right? So maybe you had a lot of access at one point and now you don't. And that happens too. So, right, just because a way we interacted was a certain way at some point doesn't mean that may evolve. And then maybe you get more access, you get less, you get more again. It doesn't matter, right? And so we want to talk about that too, right? And so I think I think when we're talking about taking care of ourselves, it's this idea that multiple things can be true at the same time. And some people grapple with that.
Yes.
They grapple with that. And I'm like, we can walk with you. I'm like, I can take care of myself. And then it's also about, who I want to surround. Part of my self-love is who I'm surrounding myself around. And I'm surrounding myself with people who want me to love myself.
How about that?
So I'm doing the inner work. And part of my inner work is creating something around me too. And I don't know if I'm jumping, but because that's environment. That's how my house might be looking and feeling, right? Because I know it was a time I'm a little messy sometimes. This is the longest I've been going with not being messy. But I would come in my own house and it burnt me down as soon as I walked through the door. Mm-hmm. And I said, I don't want to feel like this when I'm walking in my own house. I want to experience. So I started thinking about, well, how do I want to experience coming into my own? Because that's in my control. And I said, I want to come in and I don't want nothing in the hallway when I walk through, because I used to have my shopping cart would be in the hallway. I got to come in and so for me, when I decided what is loving myself.
Don't just zoom past. What you mean your shopping cart?
I would just leave it. So I would walk it through the door because I don't let it in my apartment. But if I don't shut it down, it's just sitting there. So now I can't open the door good.
I was like, why she got a whole shopping cart in?
No, my own. See, I was in New Jersey for a little while, so we had our own little carts.
I thought you jacked in people's shopping cart.
Yeah,
it's so. Yeah, and it was in the hallway. I was like, Lord.
It's my personal shopping cart that I bought from Home Depot. Y'all do not get. I did not have a grocery store cart.
We need clarity. That's all.
Let me clear this up because this is important because people do stuff like that. I bought my little cart from Home Depot, and it's been with me about 4-5 years. It's a good little shopping cart.
Yes. Look, Eileen's with you. She said she gets irritated if she has to step over shoes coming in her house.
But see, I take off my shoes coming in my house, and then I didn't put them up. So then now I'm coming in shopping cart and the shoes right there. And so I had to start creating different habits. And then I took in the joy. When I cleaned up, I would take in how it feels. And I want to remember that feeling. I create all kind of rituals around stuff. And I was just like, oh, this feels so good. I want to remember how this feels. So then when it gets messy again, I'm like, we ain't doing this. Let me get that together. And that's part of me and my self-love. So self-love can be a lot of different things, but it's really about us getting intimate with ourselves, to me, right? And it's like, what do I like? What makes me feel good? And some people don't know how to say that. I met a wonderful woman at an event recently. And she used to be a CEO. She retired. Now she got something else going. She gets married, got the kids, all the things that said she should be happy. And this woman said, I don't know what makes me happy.
Yes.
Boundaries.
Yes.
And so this idea that she looked good, she had the cutest little pixie cut because she had that little hair where you can have that little haircut, because I got a big head. That ain't gonna look good. She had this cute little pixie cut. She was dressed to the nines. She had designer everything on. But this woman don't even know what makes her happy. And we can dress this thing up real good.
We dress up a pig real quick, okay? And not her being the pig, but her pain, her confusion is the pig in that scenario. We put on airs because this is what is expected of us, especially if you're a high achieving, high performing Black woman. You're expected to look a certain way, speak a certain way, hang out, dress, all of these things that show that you are a success. All the while, so on the outside, you are the image of got it together. And on the inside, you are struggle bussing it. You barely making it. And you'd be like, when was the last time I honestly was happy? Like honest happiness, or the last time I did something just for me, because we get so tied up in the roles that we have been assigned in life. I got married, so now I'm assigned the role of wife. I had kids, so now I'm assigned the multiple roles of mother, doctor, therapist, psychiatrist, psychologist, referee, financier. I'm your whole sugar mama over
Uber driver.
Right. I'm your chauffeur, your chef, your pick a role, a title, right? Then in our community, I'm an activist. I'm this. I may be a boss. I may be an executive. I may just be a worker. But everywhere I go, I've been assigned all of these roles that really don't get to kind of the crux of who I am. Those are things that I do. They're not who I am. And sometimes
Right.
we get the two confused, right? I'm still Leanne, even if I'm a mother. And I still deserve to be happy
Yes.
because, and I think that goes back to our favorite word of the day,
Boundaries.
boundaries, right? Because we have to teach people how to treat us and how to love us, or how we want to be loved, not how to love us, how we want to be loved. Because some people can only love you the way that they know how. And either you're going to accept it or you have to move around and find someone who can
Hmm.
love you in that way that you need to be loved. But we teach people how to treat us. And if we are not even treating ourselves right, what am I telling everybody else? If I set a boundary and I continue to let Sharonda walk right on past that boundary, hey, Sharonda, I'm not going
Yeah.
tonight because on Fridays I do XYZ. Come on, Leanne, you gotta do it. And next thing you know, I'm outside till 1 o'clock in the morning. I come home drunk, whatever. Didn't get all the things done that I needed or wanted to do for myself, right?
Yeah.
We're teaching Sharonda, just taught Sharonda that all she got to do is keep asking me. I'm just gonna fold.
I taught somebody that lesson last week. So they thought they was warming me up back in
Mm.
November to ask me to do something in February. I was like, oh no, no, no. But they say, but your husband did it. I'm
But it
sorry.
doesn't
I'm
reach.
Sharonda, not a reef. Don't do that. Don't do that. And you
Right.
know I have a hard boundary with this. And the person knew my trauma behind this and stuff. So here comes the week before February, the first weekend of February. She calls. I don't answer, and I wait another day before I call her back. And of course,
Mhm.
she's like, "Oh yeah, I was just calling to check on you, and see how things are, and blah blah blah, and to see if you were coming this weekend because she actually double booked herself." I was like, with this 92 percenter thing, the assignment is to sit down, sit back, because
Right.
if you don't, they won't. You understand?
That's
And
right.
so she was very manipulative, and I saw it coming, and it
Mhm.
was well, what you doing anyway on the weekend? Not doing that. Not doing that.
Right. It doesn't matter what I'm doing. I've already
Exactly.
told you multiple times that I'm not doing this.
But she said, but do it for me. Ma'am, so you want me to
No,
do
thank you.
something for you that's causing me trauma, and
Yes.
I'm not ready to come out to play anymore. But the achy, I mean, I think the violins did come out, achy breaky heart. And just like,
Of
yeah, that's
course.
still a no. That's still a
Because
no. It's
they're
still a
gonna
no.
try,
Yeah.
they're gonna try all the things to do
It's
it.
still a no. And I enjoyed my Saturday while she was running around with a chicken like a head cut off. I'm just like, no. And you wanted me to rip a band-aid off of my boundaries and the reason why I'm staying still to serve you, but fuck me and how I feel. That's how you made me feel.
Now that's where you have the selfish that comes in,
Not
because
even for
I
you.
know, no, not you being selfish, her being selfish.
That's what I'm
In
saying.
the
I
fact
can't do
that,
this, not even for
yeah,
you. And no, it's new to me, but it's still a no. It's still a no.
and
And
think
how
about
you
it
like
this way,
work
because
me.
I know some people deal with saying no and they feel bad because, oh, I'm rejecting people. I know what it's like to be rejected. Let me help you reframe that in a way that might help you.
Please do.
Whenever you say no, you are not rejecting them. What you're doing is you're choosing you.
And protecting your
So
peace.
think about it that way. Stop thinking and automatically going to the negative. I'm rejecting them. No, I'm not rejecting you. What I'm doing is choosing me, choosing my health, my happiness, my peace, my
Mm-hmm.
joy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm choosing me, and I will choose me Sometimes you can't choose you because you got kids. You got to go and do the things. You got a husband. You have things that you have said you would do. Right? And you want to be a woman of your word. But even in that, sometimes you have to be like, hey, I thought I could. Because being grown is saying the hard things sometimes.
How about
I
that?
thought I could, but I cannot. And not doing it at the last minute. Right? Not doing it at the last minute because you're scared to talk to people, but being upfront and saying, hey, I thought I could do this. I actually have been thinking and reflecting, and this is not something that I can do at this time. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And yes, Eileen, that is a good way to not feel guilty or falling for the guilt trip is reframe it and realize that somebody else's emergency is not your problem.
You took that out of my mind. You took it out of
have
my
to
mind.
save everybody. You don't have to serve everybody. You do get to have the option of, I just don't want to do it. You don't have to have no reason, but the simple fact of I don't want to do it because today I chose to sit in my bed all day and do nothing. That is 100% okay. Because you work hard, or maybe you don't work hard and you're a lady of leisure. And as your lady of leisure stature and status, you could do what the hell you want.
All of that part.
Yeah,
all of that.
Y'all just said a lot. I don't need some of the stuff I have to go way back. I'm gonna start where we're at now. But
you can go back. I mean, we go back to it. Okay.
Yeah, I think one of the things that's important is the stories that we tell ourselves, right? Yeah. Because a lot of our feelings, that's our own feelings. So when we're talking about how do we avoid guilt, that's you didn't told yourself you're guilty. That's you. Like you feel guilty because you didn't told yourself, oh, I didn't hurt their feelings. I didn't let them know. You told yourself that. So we have to be responsible for our own feelings, and we have to be comfortable about what we are saying and what we're making up. Because, and like what you said, you're not rejecting the person. If I don't want to do this thing, I'm not rejecting you. I'm rejecting doing this thing. Right. And me rejecting doing this thing should not impact our relationship. And if it is, then we need something deeper to talk about, right? Because if I want to do this thing, girl, we're still in a relationship. I don't want to do this thing.
That's it.
Right. And so, and getting clear about that. And yes, we do make sacrifices when we want to, but we just need to know why we're doing it. Because let me tell you something about people pleasing. It burns you out. And when you consistently find yourself doing stuff that you don't want to do to please other people, that's gonna wear yourself out. You're gonna be so resentful, and you're eroding trust with yourself. One of the questions I asked on my IG like months ago was like, do you trust yourself? Like we ain't even good with ourselves because we keep letting down ourselves.
And helping people do it too.
Let me clap on that one.
First of all, y'all didn't tell me to bring no fan. I feel left. I got one somewhere because I had it for Renaissance. I had a fan that's somewhere.
I'm gonna put that in the little show notes.
Put that in the show notes.
Bring your clap fan. Because I'm about to come up with a Wake Up Happy Sis fan so that people can order them and have them and they can clap with us because you got it. But I got you. Whenever you want to clap, just let me know. Because I got a virtual clap.
Okay.
Sound.
Got it.
Look.
Listen. And so this people pleasing that feels good in the moment because we don't want to deal with what feels like, the drama, feels like the confrontation. It adds up. And it hurts us with ourselves. It hurts how we show up for other people. Because that resentfulness stuff, then we're petty. Now we passive aggressive. Now we mad at them. And then we mad at them and they don't know we mad at them because they think we have autonomy and agency or they don't care necessarily. We're grown. And then we won't, and then we'll do something like we'll ask them something and they will keep their boundaries. Then we real mad. Now we real mad when somebody else keep their boundaries. When we kept here, sitting up here, we cross ours, we ignore ours. And then we get real big mad and hurt in our feelings when somebody actually stands on business about their boundaries.
That part.
Look. Now you just said a whole mouthful. You just said a whole mouthful with that last one. Right. Give her a clack, Sharonda, because she needs that clack on that last one. Because we will get so upset when someone else respects their boundary.
That part.
Because we don't respect our boundaries.
You better get yourself some.
Mocha Janelle, we have church on every good Monday and Thursday. We got
Mhm.
Deacon Dulce. Okay. We got Pastor Sealy. And we got the good Pastor Pack that has come to join us today and us to help us minister to the good people of the Wake Up Happy Sis community.
We got a word for you. Come on and get it.
We don't have a word if you want it. Now let me say this because I want to take a step back.
Okay.
We go back to go forward sometimes.
Mhm.
A lot of us are carrying. Wait for it because you might need to get your fan ready.
Okay, wait.
Okay.
I'm ready.
A lot of us are still carrying them unhealed wounds from our mothers and our grandmothers. And that is why self-love feels so foreign because we've never seen it modeled for us.
Yeah.
Right?
It's that
If all
figured
you
out.
saw, think about it, if all you saw is your mother, your grandmother, and them taking care of everybody else to their detriment, killing themselves to take care of everybody else, always being the one feeling unappreciated, let down, left hurt and confused because they gave all of them, they gave what was in the saucer, what's in the cup until it was bone dry. It's never been modeled for us. So how do we know? We know that children learn by patterning from what they see.
Yeah. And right? I think taking that further, Leanne, is like how we were brought up is like there was no boundaries. We speak, they tell us to be quiet. We say, no, don't do this. You know, like you can't speak back. You can't express yourself. Like there was a lot of respect looked very controlling. Respect didn't allow us to, you know, necessarily some households and, you know, Black church, regular households, Black households, you know, back in the day, look, I'm 44, right? So this idea what respect looked like and what being a good child looked like, these things did not allow for full expression. It did not allow for choice. But see, the thing is now you're an adult. So our parents and our grandparents did what's in their capacity and whatever they didn't have, they didn't have. But now we are adults. And so we can heal, we can work on that, but we take responsibility for that. Yep. And we get to say, what does adult Kimberly want to do? What feels good to adult Kimberly today? Like we have to do that work and stop looking back at our parents and our family. They did the best they could, or maybe they didn't do the best they can. Either way, you're an adult today. So what does grown you do today?
As far as I'm concerned, the age of awareness, I'm going to put it at 18. I'm only talking about myself. I am responsible from the age of 18 forward. When people would try to go back to the 70s when I was a child, why are you staying back there and not staying here in the present to deal with adult Sharonda? Little girl Sharonda didn't have any agency whatsoever. Adult Sharonda does, and they wouldn't deal with me. I'm like,
Because it was easier to control child Sharonda, and they still want to stay in that mode because that's where they want you to be. People don't often look at who we are because when you look at who Leanne is now versus who I was 10, 15 years ago, I'm a very different animal. You look at me from my 20s, I'm a whole different person, whole different human being, right? And so it was easier to deal with that Leanne because that Leanne was a people pleaser. That
no
Leanne was very much trying to find herself, had no boundaries, right? It was easy to control. So people go with what they're comfortable with. They were comfortable with the Sharonda that didn't have boundaries.
Oh, that part.
That may have known her worth a little bit, but wasn't exercising the knowledge of that worth. Because you can know you're worthy and never act on it. Right? You can know you're worthy and never act on it and continue to let people walk all over you. Or you can stand up and say, you know what? This is the fuck around and find out, Sharonda.
Oh my gosh. Absolutely yes to that. Yes.
Right?
Oh, because they butthurt about it too.
They are, because people have entitlements to us. They have entitlement to our time, to our energy, our space, our love, our feelings. And if we're not going to put those boundaries in place for ourselves first boundary you have to set is with you. You have to know what you will and will not accept. Because if I don't know, how am I going to tell Kim that really hurts me when you do XYZ and I need you to not do that anymore? If I don't even know, I'm just sitting over here butt hurt because of something that happened 2-3 months ago that I never even spoke up about. Because I never had a boundary set with me that said, hey, check your feelings when something's happened and speak on it in that moment. So you're not now building up tension and anger and just piling on top of that trauma that you've never resolved, by the way. And now I'm going to take it out on Kim the next time I do see her. I'm going to have a stank attitude. And she over here wondering, like, what the hell going on? I just, right? But when we don't have those boundaries with self, because we don't have an inherent sense of worth and sense of love of self, you're going to take it out on everybody else around you. And everybody else around you is going to continue to infringe upon your time, your energy, your space, your love, your feelings, your everything.
They can try.
But if you've not done the work, it's not just them trying, they're going to.
Right.
That's the part. You've got to do the work because the boundaries don't exist until you do the work.
Before then it's a recommendation.
Yes. Y'all saying so much good stuff. And I mean, we could talk about this all day long, but I think one of the things you said that really stuck out to me is about this timeline. Like me 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 10 years ago. Let me tell you something. You can be different tomorrow.
Yes.
You can be different right now.
You can be different in the next hour. And I talk to this about my clients because this idea that who we've been, it takes a decision. If I make a new decision, if I get some new awareness, some new whatever, and I make a decision, baby, I might be different tomorrow. I may be different this afternoon. And I'm not talking about some mental schizophrenia. Like, don't be obtuse, audience. Okay. I'm talking about what my values are, what I believe in, and how I may be different, be in ways that may be noticeable. And that doesn't have to take a year. That doesn't have to take a month. That takes a decision today. That can take a decision from you having this conversation and hearing this, and you making a decision today based on this here one conversation this morning that you are going to love yourself in ways out loud. You can be different from this conversation. We are planting seeds. And if you grab that seed and you decide to work that seed, you can be different in the next 15 minutes.
That part. Yes. Because it's free to change your mind.
And you make the decision and you stand on business about yourself today. Don't even worry about what you did yesterday. Don't even worry about you gave somebody some money who you said you weren't going to no money to yesterday. It doesn't matter. Even if you broke something this morning, right now, in this moment, you can say, I'm about to do some different things. I'm about to make some different choices. Let me call you back. I know I said I was going to give you that money. I'm so sorry. You're going to have to find it somewhere else. If you ain't sent it, you can take it back. And you can say, I'm so sorry. If you've committed to something you weren't supposed to commit to, you can take it back. If you can, like if it makes sense, right? If it's not in this moment, take it back, right? Yeah. And so this idea that you have to ease into it, no, you can make the decision and you can stand on business about this decision about yourself and your boundaries.
Love speed.
Listen.
Yes.
We don't need all that. We got time. Right? Like we can make the decision. And so I tell people, if you ain't talked to me in a year, there's some new things about me you're not gonna know because Kimberly is evolving regularly. So if we ain't touched base in a year, you got to get some new instructions, particularly. You're gonna find out some new things I'm into. You don't, because a girl over here is growing out loud every day, all the time.
I love
and
it.
With new awareness comes new decisions and new actions, new beliefs.
Ma'am.
Okay.
Wait. Say that one more time, because you was talking fast, and somebody in the back didn't catch that. New what every day?
Every day. Listen, it could be some new awareness, new learnings, new actions, new beliefs. Okay. Yes. And so that means the last week I was too scared to say no. And this week I'm saying no, and I'm standing on business.
And you might still be scared. You might still be scared to say no, but you said, you know what? Kimberly, Leanne, and Sharonda said that I got to make a change. I got to make a decision and stand in that business. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to have to tell you no.
And let me tell you a little trick
Mm-hmm.
for one of my people-pleasing clients, because sometimes it's not easy for you. When they ask you, just say, let me get back to you. And then you send an email and say no. And that's what you got to do. And you got to send a text.
Right.
Because some of us not ready for that confrontation. We're not ready. So we gonna even give you the training wheels. Don't answer. I told my one people-pleasing client, I said, you don't answer no questions on the spot. Because you be getting nervous. You don't answer nothing. So
because what's the rush though?
Yeah. And so you tell everybody, you know what? I don't typically answer questions on the spot. You can make that your brand. I don't answer questions on the spot. So I'm gonna take that and I'm giving, and you can have your answer in your mind and just know, because you got to build up to it. How do we help ourselves? You know yourself. You know that the confrontation, you're not ready yet, and this sound good. Leanne, Sharonda, and Kimberly pumping you up, and you feel good. But then when you get in front of somebody, you're like, oh, I can't do it. You can say, I'll get right back to you. That you can do. I ain't never met a client that could say, let me get back to you. That's a good thought. Okay, let me check my calendar and get back to you. If that's what you got to do that. And then you get back with the no by text. If that's you're not ready to do no in the face, you do know in the background. So
yeah, because Sharonda brought up a good question. What is the rush? If somebody is rushing you to an answer, it's because they know that in your face, you have an issue saying no. And if I can get you to commit, now your guilt is going to kick in, right? And now you're going to be locked in because we have this weird need for external validation.
Let me tell you something. That goes away when you get therapy.
It does. It goes away when you get help for dealing with the issues that's causing you to require all of this external validation and people pleasing, right? Being liked equals being safe in those instances, right? It equals being safe. It's that feeling of being loved and being wanted. And if I say no, they're not going to love me anymore. If I say no, they're not going to like me anymore. If I say no, I'm no longer going to be safe. All of those things are a lie that your inner hater, minus me, Ricky Bobby, is telling you to keep you stuck.
It's for real, Kimberly. You laugh, but it's for real.
She said Ricky Bobby, I wasn't ready. Y'all be listen. Yeah.
Look, Ricky Bobby is now he's not. Now let me be right. Let me be clear. I do not have split personality. I do not have multiple personalities.
For the obtuse.
Right. Because some people, when you say that, thinking I'm not making fun of people who do. What I'm saying is, for me in my life, I know that the voice that is in my head, you have millions of thoughts in a day. Some of them are going to be negative, and some of them are going to be there to, it's our own internal fear safety mechanism. So Ricky Bobby really thinks he's saving me from this unknown, from this hurt, from this thing. Ricky Bobby came from me being hurt in my past. So what he says is, no, you don't even want to go over there. You're going to go over there. You're going to get hurt. You can't do this. These people, what if these people don't believe you, right? You have all these little negative thoughts and fears because that's what it's rooted in. It's rooted in fear. Us not having boundaries, not setting boundaries, not sticking to boundaries is our fear of rejection, our fear of somebody walking out of our life because maybe our mama or our daddy or whoever was our primary caregiver walked out of our lives, right? You've got to get the help that says, oh, this is where that pain came from. And how do I heal it? But you know what? It can start today. It can start today by you saying, I'm going to work on that over there. But while I'm working on it, give me a minute. I'll get back to you when I go check my calendar, when I check some other things that I got to do. I'll get back to you. Then you get home an hour later and you send that email or that text and you just say, oh, I checked it. I'm not going to be able to do it.
That part.
Because it's okay. And when we are stepping into our worth and our space of self-love, unapologetic self-love at that, remind yourself, and if you got to get in the mirror every damn morning and say this, I deserve more. I am enough. I am love and I am loved. You find the affirmations that help you, but you have to also get to a point and do the work to where you believe them. Because it's not just about saying it. It's about feeling and believing it in your heart. That's how you get it to manifest. And sometimes you got to fake it till you make it, until you can really believe it. And that rote memorization is going to help you with that.
There's two things that I talk about. One, I want to say that practice makes permanent, right?
Ooh,
So when
yes.
you keep practicing, I know it says practice, we're not worried about perfection here, but when you practice things all the time, it becomes the way of doing things. It goes from practice to who you are.
Yes.
Right? You learn how to be the pianist, and then you become a pianist, right? So practice makes permanent. So keep doing it. Then the other thing you said that I talk about all the time is you have to be your own safest place. That is the work, because we're not safe with ourselves. We're not safe with ourselves, and that's why we allow all these people to do this stuff to us, because that's how we do ourselves. We haven't decided some non-negotiable things about ourselves. We have to talk to ourselves right. We have to forgive ourselves. We have to be gracious and compassionate with ourselves. So we don't treat ourselves right. So then when other people are treating us like this, it feels familiar. Okay? It feels super familiar. So becoming your own safest place. In my Boundaries Bootcamp, it's about you first, the crew, everybody else, and then practice. Because there is some relationships that we care about that we may keep working with, but then there's some everybody else out here. You know what I'm saying? Like we got to know why we're doing things, but it always starts with us. It's an inside job. And if you're not your own safest place, which is work, right? That's the relationship you got to keep working on. It ain't never not a good time to work on your relationship with yourself. Okay,
that part. Work on you. Do you?
That. And there are times when you are going to have to walk away from people, places, and things that are no longer serving you. In this walk of self-love and self-worth, you have to walk away from what is no longer serving you. And sometimes that's people that you may feel like you are madly in love with. That ain't love. That's attachment. And you may have an anxious attachment style. I don't get deep with y'all on that, because we could have a whole show on attachment styles. Right? I realized in my life I have an anxious attachment style because I grew up without a father. My mother died when I was young. Well, I don't even know if she really did, but that's a whole nother story. But we think she did, but she's been gone since I was a little kid. So now I feel like, oh, if I attach quick and I do all these things and I people please, maybe this person won't leave me like the two most important people in my life, your mother and your father. Right? So you have to know that sometimes that ain't love, it's just trauma. It is a trauma attachment that you have to somebody. And it's time for you to do what? Not reject them, but choose you. That job that ain't valuing you, leave it, find another. That friendship that's draining you, let him or her go, or just start to set boundaries around how you engage with that person. Give yourself permission to take up space, baby, to make mistakes and to own and live in your truth. Because confidence is not about not being scared and never doubting yourself. It's about, I may have these doubts, fears, but I'm still choosing me anyway. That's confidence that says I may not be perfect, but good goddamn, I am the shit. And really meaning that, because I am. I ain't perfect. Perfection doesn't exist.
Right.
So as we come up to round out the hour, I want you guys to take this away from what we've said today. And then I'm gonna give you guys a chance to give your final thoughts. You are worthy without permission, without conditions, and without proving a damn thing to anybody else. You are worthy simply because you are. But you got to know that. Because if you don't know it, you ain't going to show it, baby. You have to walk in that knowledge. And how do I get it? What do we say? Practice makes
permanent,
not perfect. Progress over perfection.
That's
absolutely.
Right. Every step you take and every time you're consistent, you're creating a habit. You're leaving and releasing those negatives, and you're creating new, happy, positive, affirming actions in your life. Well, Aileen, we are glad that you are here. She said she really needed to hear this discussion. Thank you for coming to the Wake Up Happy Sis
Yes.
Episcopal Baptist um, Catholic Buddhist Church of
Oh,
God.
it's AME of Kojic.
Right. Church of God in Christ of our dear Lord and Savior, Heart of the Lamb Church.
Yes,
You know, the church
everybody.
got
Yes.
500 names. I'd be like, baby, can we just pick one? Just pick one. But you know, we are here for y'all. So, Kim, as we wrap up,
Yes.
why don't you give us your final thoughts and then tell the people how they can connect with you and learn more about Ascend Together.
Great. Yes. I just want to say, listen, these non-negotiables that Leanne just listed out about you being worthy, work. If that's not non-negotiable to you, that's where you start. Before you buy the massage, or maybe while you buy the massage, before you get the coach bag, let's work on your non-negotiables. And then the other thing I just want to say to everybody listening is borrow some of this belief. Leanne, Sharonda, and me, we standing on business about you. We believe who you are, and we just borrow some of that belief. If you don't got it, borrow some of this belief, because we came through. We believe it for ourselves, and we believe it for you. Borrow some of this belief. You can follow me on IG. I actually have 2 rest workshops this month that talk about how to take care of yourself in meaningful ways, particularly with times like this. I have an amazing giveaway where I'm getting with a Black woman self-care subscription box. Somebody go get her Galentine Time Day boxes chock full of things. So follow me on IG at Together Ascend, and keep following these kind of messages. Where you get a good word, you got a good word today, then you need to come back next week.
Period.
You go find a good place and then you don't come back. Like get hello, so come back.
That's right.
The water is warm over here.
That's what we do over here. It's good, happy, and warm and inviting over here. So we do this every Monday and every Thursday, baby. So come on in. The water's fine. It's warm in this house. Okay. Or cool if that's what you like. I like warm. But you know, whatever temperature you like, that's what we got for you. So come on in, chat with us. Normally our shows are drop-in. We're gonna go back to the drop-in. So that means as a drop-in, you can just come on stage and be respectful and join the conversation. Because we do this to help y'all. But in the midst of it, we also help ourselves because we are all growing, changing, and learning together. That's what this is about. It's about not feeling isolated in our experiences, because there's somebody who has been through what you are going through right now, and they can be that hand reaching back to grab you and pull you forward.
Yeah.
And it is not an age, because you can learn something from a 20-something, you can learn something from a baby. Because toddler, baby, they will hurt your whole heart.
Oh my God. Hurt your world. Oh my God.
They will hurt your feelings with their truth, because they come from no holds barred, no filter.
They don't know what a boundary is yet.
No, they have none, and they all up in your face, in your space, with they let German hands and stuff, and you can learn from them too. So open your eyes, open your heart to who you are supposed to be. Not even who you can be, who you are supposed to be. Because this limited version, this scared version, this version of you that's filled with trauma, that's just that timeline. Baby, we jump in timelines to the version of you that's happy, the version of you that feels free and fulfilled, the version of you that is fearless, that has courage. Whatever it is you want, there's a timeline for you. You just got to do the work to jump, baby.
I'm just going to issue a challenge and a dare, like a dog ass dare back from the damn 70s, 80s.
Double dare them.
Wait, did you say
a double dog dare you?
Double dog dare you. Ooh,
yes, I double dog ass dare you to learn about yourself, to figure out who you truly are. Because that's the most important work you're going to ever do, is to get to know yourself on a much deeper level. Stop staying so shallow and just above the surface. Go deep and figure out some shit as to why you feel the way that you feel. I dare you to learn about yourself and then come out on the other end and be like, oh my God, I would hang out with me. Me too, girl.
Look, when you realize that you would really hang out with you, now not every day, because some days I don't even like me. Okay, if we being real, there are days I don't like me because I can be I know you guys are gonna find this hard to believe, but some days I can be bitchy.
Oh, I thought you was gonna say petty.
Oh no, that's not even hard to believe because I am petty.
Okay.
We're petty, and I will get petty if you. But I don't just jump out petty like, ooh, no. My petty is reciprocal. You do something to me, I'm going to be petty with you. I am still evolving and growing, but that's a part of me that I might like. That I like being petty. I like being petty. There's nothing wrong with it. I don't hurt nobody.
So you say.
If they got hurt, it's because they deserved it.
Like I said.
If they got hurt, I don't do petty stuff that really hurt people. Your feelings might be hurt, but that's because you were wrong. The Most High had a message to send to you through my pettiness. Hopefully you got the lesson.
Help her, Lord.
Yeah, she said she evolving, so we go keep on the premise.
She's still under construction, apparently.
Yes. Aren't we all?
We're all under construction, so yes.
Right.
Pray for me. Don't play with me.
Yes,
indeed. Pray for me. Don't play with me.
Bars, okay, bars.
All the way.
When somebody go to the side like that, they not playing with you. Or when they be pray with me, don't play. It's either a clap or I got to hit you with the side. I'm not playing in those moments. Okay? I'm here to help you get on the path to your healing.
Yeah.
But you got to want to take that step, baby. You got to want to take the step. We are here to help.
Remember that dare, y'all. Yeah. I dare you.
And I know we're wrapping up, but Leanne, you said something so powerful, and people don't know, because you say stuff and people don't know there's science behind it. When you talked about a future version of ourselves, research says that when we think about a future version of ourselves, we make better decisions today. So if you can see yourself as loving yourself, if you can envision what that would look like, you will start making better decisions for yourself today based on you seeing a future you. So she was just talking about time, leaving all that. That future you stuff works.
It works.
So
that's
think about
yourself,
your future. Yes.
Okay, what you need on a shirt or a fan, Eileen? The play with me, don't pray for me, don't play with me.
Probably,
I can do that for you.
That sounds shirt worthy.
That is definitely shirt worthy, but it is something that works. And this, I'm gonna give you a little hint, and this is free. I ain't even charging y'all for what I'm about to give you. Write out who you see yourself as in the future. This ideal version of yourself. Don't limit yourself. Don't think, oh, I could never achieve this. Write it out so you can see it. Write the vision, make it plain.
Absolutely.
Okay. And then write out what are her characteristics, or his if you're a man, or if you're somewhere in between. Okay. Write out, how do they act? How do they dress? How do they think, feel? Get a whole persona. If you need a little bit of help, ask AI to give you some ideas. And then start to act as that person would. Start to think as they would. Move as they would. Move as if you are that person. Now, I'm not saying don't pay your bills, because that person would be paying their bills. Do not just go take a trip to Greece and you ain't paid your rent or your mortgage.
That part.
Come back and say, but Leanne said no, she didn't. Act as that person, because the universe, and because up here, it doesn't really know the difference. Either you can act in this sad, unhappy, unevolved timeline, or I can act in my highest good. That's how we manifest.
Mhm.
That's you.
That's
Future
right.
you, new timeline you. There's an infinite number of yous that are in existence right in this moment. Choose the one you want to be
Hmm.
and act as her now. You can do it. I know you can. Kimberly knows you can. Sharonda knows you can. But do you? Okay, Eileen, look, next week it's going to be designed on a shirt. And if you don't buy one, I'm going to come on this YouTube because I see your YouTube. I see your comments. I'm going to go on YouTube and I'm going to be like, Eileen, here's your shirt.
Hmm.
And
And
it's
we
probably going to be on a fan too because I'm working on the fans, so y'all could clap because that would be a good fan to pray for me. That's good.
Mhm.
So with that, we do got to go because
Yeah,
we've
this
been
is real
trying.
church now. When you say you do the benediction 5 times, this is real church now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Baby, we didn't have whole shows that went like a whole hour and a half because every time we would stop and be like, okay, we're about to leave. But there was just one last thing.
No.
Whole another 20-minute conversation.
All hearts and minds clear. I say yes for me.
Yes, the doors of the church are open.
Yes. So I want y'all to know, love you today, tomorrow, yesterday, because you are enough. You are worthy of love. You are already love. The best person in the world loves you, and that's Sky Daddy, aka Jesus Christ, God. What's some other ones? Allah. It's whoever you call, whatever you call him, it, them. You already have the greatest love of all, him and inside you.
Mhm.
Don't let anybody ever tell you or show you different.
That's right.
Stand on that business. Set them boundaries. Say no. And just realize that next level for you is already here. You
Mhm.
just got to open your eyes and walk through that door. And as always, remember to wake up happy, sis. We will see you on Monday. Bye-bye. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Wake Up Happy Sis Show. Join us live every Monday and Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern for more joy, healing, and sisterhood. Until next time, keep thriving unapologetically, sis.